Hello everyone and welcome to the one-on-one sessions with Gaga Mosare, and I'm your host Gaga M, giving you guys tips, lessons and teachings on everything spirituality. Okay, so like I said in my last video, I'm dialing back to ancestral things a bit because I have been deviating from it a bit. So today we're gonna be talking about money again because I love money. I'm kidding. Okay, but today we're going to be talking about people that do not pay healers or refuse to pay. This is whereby, like, okay, I couldn't really context it properly with the headache or the name of the topic, but what I'm really referring to is people that actually go to a healer, seek for help, and the healer would say, okay, my services are this much, and the person doesn't have enough, and they'll say, well, okay, we don't have that. Then the healer says, okay, no, it's fine, you can pay half by half while I've already helped you. But the thing about these people is that they don't come back and pay. Like, guys, how do you do this to sangomas? Like, how do you do that to sangomas? And I would be so terrified to do that. I know I'm a healer myself, but I would be so terrified to do that even today. Okay, so a lot of people actually do that, and what most healers would say is that they are being scammed by certain clients. It does happen. Don't mind me laughing. It's just weird. Okay, so a lot of people actually go to healers, seek their help, and they get the helps from the healers, and those helps actually do their job. But what happens that those people have not really finished paying the healer, and they decided, okay, we're not gonna do it. They decided, okay, my life is more important. I am not going to pay this particular person for the help they gave me. I'll just go to another person after that to actually assist me if I ever need any more help. So that is something that we encounter a lot as healers. We encounter it a lot, especially given the fact that people can be stingy, but I'm not really gonna say people can be stingy, but people can be very deceitful. The same applies to some of us healers. We can be deceitful, and the same applies to clients as well, but I'm gonna be looking at the client part of it because I've already touched up on the sangoma part of it. What their reasons may be for not paying. Okay, so people will come to you and say that they have a lot of reasons. Firstly, they'll say, okay, even today I have not been able to save up enough money to actually help this particular person, help this particular healers. Some will actually come to you and say, well, okay, I got help from this person, but I never really saw any difference. Okay, I hear you guys. And others would actually go to extent of saying, well, I forgot about it. Okay, and others would not even have an explanation. They would just disappear. So people have a lot of reasons as to why they do this. But the thing about it is that you do that to someone who is governed by their ancestors. And the thing about it is that in a later stage, that is something that actually affects you regardless of what decision you feel or you made, or you feel whatever reason you feel made you not do this. Because understand that we spiritual people, we are governed by our ancestors. Most of our lives are dictated by our ancestors. And even when you come to my Dumba, you are not coming to me, you are coming to my ancestors. They're the ones that will be talking to you, they're the ones that will be guiding you, they're the ones that will be giving you their services. Okay, so at the end of the day, most of us will not really do anything to a person. If, like, for example, you come and consult and we give you herbs and you don't pay, you refuse to pay, or you say, I'll pay on this particular day and we don't really do anything to you, because that's that thing, we just let the ancestors deal with all those kind of stuff on their own. But what really happens, or how are we affected? How are people affected by doing this? The first thing is that the herbs used for the herbs given to you can affect you in a later stage. So this is whereby, for example, you are given herbs for Isleson, by a particular healer. You say, okay, I'm gonna pay up on this particular day. Obviously, we're still gonna give you the herbs because we're trying to help. Okay, some of them will, I don't work like that. Okay, but they will give you the herbs and say, okay, you'll pay on this particular day, but you decide to disappear. Understand that we would have given you the right herb, the herb that is supposed to help you. But the fact that you decided to be deceitful, something that the ancestors can do, and this can be done by both your ancestors or the healer's ancestor, they can actually make those herbs affect you in a bad way. So meaning what, you can actually drink the herb and finish it right now, have yours also go away. But in a later stage, once the ancestors notice what it is that you are trying to do, they make sure that they bring back whatever muti that we were removing back to your body. And when they bring back that muti back to you, they bring it back twice or three times more effective than it was last time. So you'll be actually suffering because of the herbs that you took and did not pay for. Okay, the same applies if, for example, you come for a cleansing. Okay? So we cleanse your body, we remove all the darkness, your body is fine. Then you decide, okay, I'm gonna bolt because I'm already good. So the ancestors will make sure that they place more darkness onto you. And this is something, like I said, it is put on you by your ancestors and our ancestors at the same time. So you'll be dealing with two different types of spirits that are not happy with you and your tricky ways. Okay, so the herbs that you are given will affect you badly in a later stage of your life because of your deceitfulness. Number two is the ancestors of the healers can react to it as well. So this is whereby the healer's ancestors decided, okay, we are not going to return whatever it is that the healer removed in the first place, but we are going to make sure that your life is a living hell. The ancestors can actually do that because remember that the physical world and the ancestral world is very different. And in a case like that, even your ancestors will not interfere because they would have been able to see what happens, because there is a communication amongst ancestors, amongst our ancestors. That is why I usually say that when you come consult to me, my ancestors connect with your ancestors, and that is how I tend to know certain things about you. So our ancestors will be in agreement, and your ancestors will later on allow mine to make your life a living hell. So the ancestors of the healer will then later make sure that they make your life a living hell. This is whereby financially your things just fall apart, you lose certain things that are very important to you, like there is no direction in your life at the end of the day because of your decision. Okay, number three, how the healers of the person react to it. Okay, so this is where, as healers are different, and like I said, some of us, we won't really do anything, we're just gonna let these things be like, we're just gonna let the ancestors deal with all these kind of things. But healers are different. The same way as you and I are different, there are some healers that can actually act on it. And when they do that, it's something very hard, because the thing about it is that when you are sort of like, you try to trick a healer and they decide to punish you for it, it's not really something that can be returned back because of the fact that you started the person. It cannot be turned back. And the only way for you to remove whatever muti that the healer would have sent to you, you have to go to the person and ask for forgiveness. And in that point, the person has to be able to forgive you fully. That is the only way in which you will be set free from whatever it is that has been put on you, because there's no other healer that will be able to help you, because you're the one who has started this entire thing. It's the same as a person who decides to go and steal in a particular house, and the people who live there decide to go to a healer to seek for help, maybe trying to return back whatever lost items they got and whatnot, or just punish whoever did that. Yes, people do that, and I personally do not blame those who do that, because people work very hard for the things that they have, and others just don't want to work, they just want to take. Okay, so they'll go to the healer will perform certain rituals and whatnot to actually have that person punished to a point where as that person will return their things. And if you find out, okay, that person does not have the person's belongings anymore, then that person who stole will need to go to the victim, to apologize, and the victim will have to fully forgive that person for whatever herbs that were used to try and get this person to return their things back, to be released or just leave the person's body. So it's the same thing as that, because by doing that, you are sort of like stealing from a healer, you are stealing from certain ancestors at the end of the day. Number four, how it may result in a curse. So like I said, certain healers can react to it, and other times your own spirits can react to it. But what happens that, okay, we people are very prideful. I'm not the kind of person who would actually admit my wrongs, unless if I really, 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 really feel guilty. Okay, so get that thing out. We are very prideful, and one thing about us human beings is that we cannot stop and say, okay, what I did was wrong, let me correct my mistakes. That is something that is rarely done. So people actually go to their graves with whatever it is that they did, with the money that they didn't pay the healer, with whatever curse that has been placed on them by the healer or the healer sangomas or their sangomas for what they did. So what happens is that will actually result in generational curses in the family, because you'd find out in a family people are not moving forward. People are just stuck. They're just stagnant and they don't understand what is going on. They just have a lot of bad luck in their lives with no reason. Only find that maybe a great grandfather did this particular thing back then, and this is something that affects them in a later stage. So this is something that can actually cause a generational curse like that, whereas people are stuck. Ne? And also one other thing that also happens, that thing certain people, like in certain families, when a particular family member does this, you find that in like a family, maybe the first male sons pass on, or the first daughters cannot conceive and stuff like this. So this actually causes generational curses, and the longer that curse is active, the stronger that it becomes, which means that it is going to be very difficult for your great grandchildren and your great grandchildren's children to actually remove the curse that has been placed on you and the family because of your stupid decision. Okay. And the last thing, when the healer passes on. So it does happen that you do this, like you have a healer help you, then you say, oh, I'm not gonna pay this person, and the ancestors are pissed off, then the healers, okay, they don't decide to pass away, they just pass away because that's just normal. The healer passes away. Okay, so one thing that actually happens in that case, you are somewhat haunted by the healer. Okay, and it's not really that thing. The healer may have said, okay, you know what, I'm not gonna be stressed out about it, I'm just gonna leave it. So you will always constantly keep seeing this healer in your dreams. You will always constantly keep being affected by this particular healer. So it's sort of like a haunting of some sort, name, but it's mainly caused by the ancestors themselves. The ancestors of that person who passed on would have been coming to you in the form of that person to show you why are they upset. And this is whereas they will still affect your life, they will still cause curses in your life, but they will actually make your life a living hell in a sense where constantly you will be visited by these spirits trying to remind you that you need to do what they want you to do. You need to pay back whatever it is that you are supposed to pay back and ask for forgiveness. And the last thing, and this is something that happens a lot with people, it's whereas okay, the healer may let it go and whatnot, but you constantly see the healer. Okay, so this is whereas one thing that happens in that case, you may see the healer in your dreams and your visions, where Lore, you see the healer perform whatever ritual they were doing to help you. If it was a cleansing, you see them taking you through a cleansing. If never techamuzi, you see them protecting the yard. If they were protecting the car, you see them doing those things over and over again. And in the time whereas they're doing those things, you constantly hear voices whereas they're telling you, return what you took or compensate for the services we gave you. That is usually how the ancestors work, to try and get the people to actually pay the healers that they try to take advantage of or try to steal from or try to scam at the end of the day. Okay, so that is it for us today. I hope you guys make good choices. Some things are just not worth it. If you don't want to pay up, just don't do it. Figure out another way to do it, because at the end of the day, you just don't want to find yourself having curses or cursing your family because you just decided to be very, very greedy. Anyways, this is it for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this session. I hope you guys liked it, and yeah, we'll talk next week. Thokozani, bye bye. Ngungu wakuketangane madlozi yakho nomanane